So since I released the Mezco Spider-Man review, I've seen a lot of comments stating how they feel like his head is just too big. I don't know if I totally agree, but it got me to thinking, especially because I had more than one person ask me about what other heads might look like on him, as well as what other figures would look like with other Spider-Man heads. So I've decided to do this crazy video where I'm going to do a bunch of different head swaps. These are all the figures that I used in head swapping. I did a bunch of pictures. I've edited them all together in a photo editing program, and we're going to take a look at those in a second. But if I'm missing a figure that you really wanted to see, then I'm sorry, but let me know in the comments so I can see if I can maybe do an addendum video or something like that. The other thing is that we have a few caveats. So the first is that I was originally intending to also use the Marvel Select Spider-Man, but as you can see, he's just huge. And it's not just that he's, you know, much bigger than other figures, but that the head also would have been a little extra goofy on the bodies. And even then, once you put it on, like, you have to do quite a lot of work to get it to look better. So I opted to just skip the Marvel Selects Spider-Man. I was also intending to use the Ultimate Spider-Man, but the problem with this guy is that he's just too small. And it's not just small in stature, but also the ball joint is smaller than all of the rest of the Spider-Man here. So this head will not fit on any of the other ones. You would have to basically shave down the ball joint on any other figure that you might potentially want to put it on, or otherwise it just won't go on. So that's why I skipped that one as well. I also skipped this Spider-Man because while I like this costume, I don't think very many people are interested in using this head on any other figures. At the same time, it's also the Pizza Spidey body, so all of these heads will be compatible with this one as well. So if you really want to swap it to this one, you can, but I also skipped this one too. For Retro Spider-Man, one of the heads that I had a messed up paint job. And so I had to do my best to repaint and fix the eye. It's the left eye in particular. And I didn't do a great job, and I know I didn't. So feel free to not let me know that in the comments below. But I went ahead and used the head anyway so that you can get a better idea of how it would look, since the two heads that come with the Retro Spider-Man are, I think, different enough that I think it's interesting to see how they both look. I also used the cell shaded, the Amazing Friends, and the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man because while all of the heads are the same, the cell shaded one has slightly different eyes, and the lines for the Amazing Fantasy are actually more of a gray than a black. And in real life that comes out, but I don't know how well that comes out in pictures, so you'll see that in a second too. But that's why you might see that two of them look very similar, since it's both the Amazing Fantasy and the Amazing Friends one side by side. I'm also using the Ben Reilly Spider-Man, even though he's not, you know, Peter Parker like pretty much the rest of these ones are. Even though I don't like this head, it's kind of weirdly big and round, but the body is nice, and so I think you guys might be interested in seeing what different heads would look like on this body too. I'm also doing the Mafex Spider-Man, and that one, the head, while it looks actually really good on most of the bodies, it doesn't really fit well on pretty much any of them because of the ball joint. So when I put the Mafex on the body, I had to use a bit of sticky tack to get it on there, but the ball joint is actually just like pushed to the back. I'll throw up a picture so that you understand what I'm saying, but just know that it's not a simple thing to put this head on any of those bodies either. And the final thing is that I did do the Mezco head as well. However, I couldn't use this one in particular because the ball joint will not be compatible with any of the Marvel Legends ones. So instead I used the one that's the light up head that I pulled out the ball joint, since that's how you put in the batteries. I put in a bit of sticky tack, and that's how I applied it to all of them. So that's the only Mezco one I'm going to be able to do on the rest of the figures. But with that in mind, let's actually go ahead and get right into it. So first up is Pizza Spider-Man. As you can see in the image, this is what I did across the board. So you'll see the original figure in the center, and then surrounding it are the rest of the different heads. So with Pizza Spider-Man, I think overall they all look pretty good. I think the Renew Your Vows is probably a little oversized for that body. The rest are kind of hit or miss, but if you look at the bottom row, with starting at the No Way Home Spider-Man and the rest, all four of those heads actually look pretty good on that body. And I think you'll find that to be a pretty common thread with the rest of these pictures. So moving on, we have the Retro Spider-Man bodies. So I did the first retro head on the main picture, and then the second head on the other picture. So that's why it looks like that. And I really do like this body a lot. It does look good. It actually looks good with most of these heads as well. The Andrew head doesn't look great with a lot of the figures because the deep red that it is so different, but it's actually the closest to the Renew Your Vows body but that's also probably going to be a mix of the lighting in that photo. Otherwise, the UK/gamer one, that's my favorite Spider-Man head, and I feel like that one actually looks good pretty much on everybody as well. The pizza head actually looks really good on this one too. This is the first one where with the Mafex head on that body just definitely doesn't work out, because there's a longer like peg ball joint thing in there, so that you would actually have to like cut that down in order to get that head to actually fit on. And now the Renew Your Vows body. So this one is the same body as the retro. It's a lighter red, but it's a darker blue. And so this one is kind of my go-to Spidey. I like this one the most, at least for the time being. You can see that the Amazing Friends/Fantasy heads actually look really good on this one too. Pizza head looks great on this one. That one usually looks pretty good on all of them. The retro heads do look good, but they're not as like glossy as the body is, so those don't match nearly as well as a lot of the other ones do. Here's our UK/Gamerverse body. Besides its own actual head, I think the retro heads look really good on this one. It's got the matching kind of matte look as opposed to it being really glossy, so those come out really well. The Amazing Fantasy/Friends/Cell shaded heads don't look nearly as good. The Gamerverse body is a little bit like bulkier, so that's why those heads seem a little bit smaller. Cell shaded Spider-Man. This is the classic red and blue that a lot of people like and are looking to get. So the Pizza Spidey head looks like it sits a little bit lower, so that doesn't look super good. I actually feel like a lot of the heads don't look good on this body. However, I think that the No Way Home head actually looks pretty good. Surprisingly, the No Way Head Home looks really good on a lot of different bodies, which is really surprising, especially because the No Way Home head actually has like a textured feel to it, as well as the lines actually being more of a gray than a black. Here is our Amazing Friends body, and this one is different from the cell shaded one in the sense that the colors are just really different. So it actually looks better with a lot of the heads than our cell shaded one does. So specifically, I would say that the Mafex head actually looks really good on this body. I think that matches really well. The No Way Home head also looks really good again. The Renew Your Vows actually looks kind of so-so on this one. And honestly, the Far From Home head just doesn't really look good on any of them either. But there's a reason why I use that one, and I'll get to that in a second. Now we have our Tom Final Swing body. And this one is pretty interesting. This is a very new head design for Spider-Man. The head shape is a little strange in regards to how the rest of the head shapes are. I think that the Amazing Friends/Fantasy head looks best on this body if you are going to swap out the head, with the rest of the heads being a little hit or miss. I think the No Way Home head still actually looks pretty good on this one too, if you want to swap that way. And otherwise, the Mezco head actually also looks pretty good on this body. The Mafex one is seriously just really well designed, which is why I think a lot of these heads actually look really good on this body too. Even the Toby head, while not matching entirely, if you painted those lines black, it would actually look really good on that body too. Even the Ben head isn't nearly as weird looking on this body as it is on its own body. I was going to say that the Pizza head is probably my favorite on this body, but honestly, all of them actually look pretty good. And finally, the Mezco, the one that kind of started it all. So when I see them all together like this, the original head does look just a little bit big, but I don't think it's overly big in a way that it doesn't look very good. I think though that a lot of the other heads actually could match much better. I think in particular, the cell shaded head actually looks like the same kind of design with the way the eyes are painted. That would make actually a really good main head if you don't like the original Mezco's head. Otherwise, that final swing head also looks really good on here. I also saw somebody do a custom Japanese Spider-Man head on the Mezco body, which I really liked a lot. They darkened the head and it looked really good. So I might try to do that myself, but we'll see. So you may have noticed that I did skip a few of the Spider-Man, and that's because I was worried about how long the video was going to get. So that's why I went ahead and posted the full video on my Patreon, where if you give me a follow, you'll get full free access to it. And I'll also have all of the images on there at 1080p resolution. And if you're able to support me financially on Patreon, then you'll be able to have access to the 4K resolution photos that are only cropped. They're not resized in any kind of way, and hopefully that those will be of help to you guys out there. Otherwise, if this video was useful for you, you might be interested in my Spider-Man buyer's guide, which I'll link right here.